Have you ever wondered how some men, even after intense training sessions, still have impressive sexual performance, while others seem completely drained? There is something that sets these athletes' bodies apart, and it is not just genetics or diet. It is a technique they rarely talk about, a method that involves conscious control of sexual energy and that has a direct impact on erection strength and penile vitality. For years, this kind of practice has been kept within closed circles of athletes and Eastern monks, all focused on the same goal: preserving male vital energy. This energy is not just a metaphor, it is deeply connected to the hormonal system and the erectile response. When a man wastes this energy in an uncontrolled way, especially through excessive masturbation or ejaculations without adequate recovery time, the body responds with fatigue, low drive, and an increasingly unstable erection. Athletes learn to use their bodies differently. They understand that controlling their breathing and sexual impulse can transform the way blood flows, how the brain reacts, and how the penis responds to stimulation. It sounds mystical, but it is actually pure physiology. The more energy you conserve, the more testosterone circulates, the more vigor you feel, and the more intense your erection becomes. But most men have never heard of this. We grow up believing that constantly releasing this energy is a sign of masculinity. When in reality, real power lies in mastering your own desire, in channeling pleasure, not just discharging it. Imagine the impact of this on your daily life: waking up with energy, feeling your body respond with strength, noticing your penis is firmer, your desire more alive, and your self-confidence returning naturally. That is what many athletes experience, and it is what you can also achieve when you learn how to preserve your sexual energy. Make sure you are already subscribed to the channel, because in the next parts 1 I'm going to show you how this technique works in practice and how it can completely change your sex life. And tell me in the comments, have you ever felt your sexual energy drop after periods of a lot of masturbation or intense activity? I want to know your experience. Have you noticed how some days your sexual desire seems to disappear, and on others your whole body vibrates with vitality? This fluctuation is not random, it is directly linked to how you handle your sexual energy and, especially, your testosterone. This is the hormone that defines not only your erection, but also your drive, mood, and even the way you see your own body. When a man wastes energy frequently, whether through excessive masturbation, ejaculating without breaks, or lack of impulse control, the body understands that it does not need to produce as much. It is as if the body receives the message: the mission is already complete. Testosterone drops, and with it, erection firmness, sex drive, and even confidence in your own performance. Now, when you learn to preserve that energy, something changes deeply. The body interprets retention as a sign of virility, of strength. Hormonal levels tend to stabilize, circulation improves, the penis responds with more rigidity, and the mind enters a state of focus and clarity that many men describe as feeling in control again. Athletes who master this technique talk about a feeling of accumulated energy, not repressed, but channeled. That energy is transformed into physical performance and also into sexual potency. It is a matter of biology applied with awareness. But this is not about repressing desire, it is about teaching the body how to manage that power. The balance lies in understanding that pleasure does not have to be an endpoint, but an energy that circulates within you. And it is that circulation that strengthens the penis, the heart, and even the brain. Over the years, I have realized that this relationship between energy and testosterone goes far beyond the laboratory. It is visible in a man's eyes, his posture, and the way he relates to his own body. Have you ever felt that sense of emptiness right after pleasure? A lack of drive, a kind of void, as if something vital had been drained out of you? That is not just psychological, it is physiological. Every time a man releases sexual energy without control, he is, in a way, giving up a precious reserve that the body takes time to rebuild. The penis depends on a complex system of circulation, hormones, and nerve impulses. When you ejaculate excessively, the body understands that there is no need to keep testosterone at high levels, since the biological goal has been fulfilled. Little by little, hormone production slows down, libido drops, and erection begins to lose firmness. It is as if the engine ran out of fuel before the next race. But the impact does not stop there. Sexual energy is also connected to the mind. After very frequent ejaculations, many men report lack of focus, irregular sleep, irritability, and even anxiety symptoms. This happens because dopamine, the neurotransmitter of pleasure, suffers a sharp drop. And the more the body gets used to this constant release, the harder it becomes to reach real pleasure during sex. This is why so many men, even young ones, face episodes of erectile dysfunction without understanding why. The problem is not only in the body, but in how energy is being wasted. When pleasure becomes an automatic reflex, the brain stops associating it with connection, and the body responds with apathy. The secret is to regain control. This is not about abstinence, but about awareness. About realizing that every erection is a sign of vitality, and that the way you handle it determines your performance, your self-confidence, and even how women perceive you. Have you ever imagined having the same control over your body that an athlete has during competition? The same concentration, the same mental strength, the same ability to turn impulse into results? That is exactly what many athletes do with their sexual energy as well. They do not waste it, they direct it. The secret lies in simple but powerful techniques that combine breathing, focus, and body awareness. Instead of giving in to the immediate impulse, they learn to master the release reflex itself. When desire arises, the body is trained to channel that energy to other areas, the abdomen, legs, chest, mind. This keeps blood circulating, the penis strong and ready, but under control. During training, the body goes through something called energy recycling. What would previously be released and wasted is now used as internal fuel. This practice improves circulation, strengthens the pelvic floor, and stimulates the nervous system to maintain an erection for longer. It is not physical strength, it is mental command over the body. Many men think this kind of control is unreachable, but what they lack is practice. It is like learning to breathe again, consciously, deeply, connected to your own desire. Athletes visualize the energy rising through the body, breathe slowly, and stay focused. And the more they practice, the more they notice increased potency, self-control, and sexual confidence. I always tell my patients, the penis is not an isolated organ. It is part of an entire system that responds to how you breathe, think, and feel. When body and mind work together, sex stops being a quick act and becomes an experience of mastery, pleasure, and power. Now that you understand the power behind this practice, it is time to turn theory into action. Many men think that to control sexual energy they need to follow rigid rules, but the truth is that small changes in behavior already produce deep results. Everything starts with breathing. When desire arises, instead of giving in immediately, close your eyes and take a deep breath through your nose. Hold the air for a few seconds and release it slowly through your mouth. As you do this, imagine the energy moving inside your body, rising from the lower abdomen to your chest and head. This simple act redirects blood flow, reduces anxiety, and prevents sudden energy loss during sexual stimulation. The second step is body posture. The pelvic floor, the muscles you use to stop the flow of urine, is one of the greatest allies of male potency. Contracting and relaxing this area several times a day improves blood supply to the penis, strengthens vessels, and increases control during sex. It is a silent but extremely effective training. And the third point is awareness of pleasure. When you learn to feel your own body without rushing, you begin to understand that pleasure does not have to end in ejaculation. It can be expanded, maintained, controlled. That is the real difference between a man who masters his desire and a man who is mastered by it. Remember, this technique is not about denying pleasure, but about amplifying it. It is about rediscovering the power of being in command. The more you practice, the more you notice changes in your mood, confidence, and, above all, in erection rigidity. Have you ever thought what it would be like to feel in full control of your own body again, waking up with energy, firm erections, and a confidence that shows even in your eyes? That is exactly what many men report after a few weeks of applying this sexual energy preservation technique. The first signs appear quickly: more energy upon waking, better mood, increased concentration, and, of course, more consistent erections. The penis seems to respond with more strength, and desire appears naturally, without the need for constant stimuli. It is as if the body relearned how to function at its maximum potential. This transformation goes beyond the physical. The man who controls his sexual energy starts to see sex not as an act of discharge, but as a source of power and vitality. He realizes that the more aware he is of this flow, the more intense his presence becomes. Women notice it, the body feels it, the mind is grateful. In my practice as a urologist, I have followed countless cases of men who went from sexual apathy to an active, confident, and pleasurable intimate life just by changing the way they deal with their own pleasure. There were no medications, surgeries, or miracles, there was self-mastery. And that is what separates those who merely react from the man who creates his own energy. Over time, this control becomes natural. The man begins to understand his body's signals, respect his limits, and use pleasure as fuel. And the most powerful result is internal, a feeling of strength, clarity, and vitality that goes far beyond sex. Have you ever imagined reaching 50, 60, or even 70 years old and still feeling the same vigor you had at 30? That is not a distant dream, it is the natural result of someone who learns to preserve their masculine energy. When you master this force, the penis responds with vitality, the mind stays sharp, and the whole body vibrates with balance and pleasure. Preserving sexual energy is not about repressing desire, but about respecting the body's rhythm. It is understanding that pleasure is a source of strength, not just a momentary relief. Every time you choose to direct this energy instead of wasting it, you are teaching your body to produce more testosterone, circulate more blood, and keep the flame of erection alive. Over the years, as a urologist, I have seen countless men rediscover the power of feeling alive again. They started with small adjustments, more control, more awareness, less rush. And the result was profound: firmer erections, more intense orgasms, and a sense of presence that many thought they had lost forever. Sexual energy is the heart of male vitality. When well managed, it fuels not only sex, but willpower, focus, courage, and confidence. A man who masters his own body becomes more centered, more attractive, more whole. He does not depend on pills, tricks, or miracles, he depends only on himself. And that is what I want you to take from this video: the awareness that the power is in you. Sexual energy control is a practice, a choice, and the first step is simply deciding to take care of your potency. If this content made sense to you, make sure you are already subscribed to the channel. Leave your like, comment on what caught your attention the most, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this. That way, you help other men regain their strength and joy of living. And do not forget, in the next video, I am going to reveal a simple exercise that can completely change your relationship with sex and with your own body. I will be waiting for you there.